this year, last year, this year. Do you know what happened to these emojis? They disappeared. Forever? No, it's not that. It's something very, very special.
They became part of the whole thing.
Almost that. We're very close. They became part of something big. They were added to the collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York. So if you visit the Museum of Modern Art, you're going to see famous paintings, Andy Warhol, and you're going to see this together, side by side. What do you think? Do they deserve to be there? Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Do the emojis deserve to be in the Museum of Modern Art? Yes or no? And 3 reasons. Can you work together, please?
We left symbols to start writing, and then we had literature and stuff, and then we went back to symbols. It's like an important
They should be or should not be, in your opinion?
I think those emojis, it's just like they're both things. Like it's a way to show how you feel, a different way to show how you feel.
All right. Okay. So let's take a vote. If you think they deserve to be in the Museum of Modern Art, raise your hand. If the answer is yes, yes. Modern, more or less. Can you give me your reasons, please? Why you said yes?
It's like we were talking here. I think it's like a change. We left some glyphs and images from like historical times. Then we started literature, we started writing, and we made books and images that move, and then we went back to like non-moving images again to communicate. I think it's a big step.
It's a big step. Yeah, they changed communication, right? Can you have a whole conversation only with this? Only with emojis? Can you have a whole conversation? Some people can. Only the Japanese can. No, but many people do. Many people have conversations only with this. And they are part of the history of communication. Yeah, these ones now, yeah. These ones, they're harder to read. But they are part of who thinks they don't deserve? I'm sorry, very few people. Why not girls?
I can't define art, but not for me. It's just a feeling. Sorry, I don't have a reason.
But you don't think it can be considered art?
Well, I think it could be in a museum, but not a modern art museum. When I think of modern art, and I've been to a few museums of modern art, I think of Picasso and Van Gogh, etc. So I think it is cool. You can show how things develop in technology, but go to a technology museum.
Okay. So a different type of museum, maybe. Excellent. Very good. So, what do you think? I am demonstrating another activity now, right? What do you think my students were going to do next? We are not going to do it here, but what do you think was the next step of this lesson?
Make a conversation.
There was something different. Where do you think I took this from? It's not Twitter. Because this is a headline, right? This is a headline. They're going to read a piece of news about this and compare their opinion to the opinion in the article. Now, imagine this. Imagine if I just tell the students, okay, do you know emojis? We're going to read a text about emojis. It's a completely different thing than walking through the difference of emojis today, emojis before, let's compare, why are they important, and then read a text. So in this case, we are using images and we're developing a little bit of literacy so that they can understand the text better and make more sense of what they're going to read. Otherwise, it's just, okay, read the text about emojis. And if you don't trigger any thought before that, it's difficult, or it is less, the students are less likely to be interested or motivated to read. So here you're using visual literacy to pave the way to a reading activity, right? And I used the different emojis because that was the topic of the text. Another thing that you can do with emojis is compare the use. Because, for example, do you know an emoji that is like this? Have you seen it? What do you think it means? Yeah.
High five.
Do you know it? Hallelujah. Or
High five.
it's a high five, actually. In Japan, this is meant to be this. Do you know an emoji that is like this? What do you think it means?
High five.
It's high five. It's not praying. And these are cultural things that you can tackle because we use emojis in a different way. But originally, they were meant to mean something else in Japan, right? So this
Being high five.
high five, high five.
High five for
This.
high five for Indians.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a high five. But this is another aspect that you can work with. Now, because we don't have a lot of time and there won't be time to demonstrate another activity, I'm just going to describe something else that you can try with your students. Do you use Instagram? Yes? Do your students use Instagram? Can you use Instagram in class? Because you're forbidden? You can't because you can't, you're not allowed, or because of any other? Not allowed.
Yeah, we're not allowed to.
Not allowed. Good, so let's try to think of a solution. First of all, what's the idea behind Instagram? What do you do with Instagram? You post? You usually photographs that you took, right? Or other people's photographs? It has to be yours, yeah? But some ideas, and we are not going to talk about Instagram because at Cultura we cannot use Instagram either, but we find some other way. I'm going to share a little bit how. But ideas for use of Instagram is, for example, how would somebody use Instagram before looking at an actual account? Give me a name of somebody, a famous somebody. Brad Pitt. Does he have an Instagram account? Maybe he does. Have you seen it before? No. So what we can do is speculate over what he would post, create his account, write, because it's not only about the pictures, but we can encourage students to use text and then compare with the real thing. Give me another name of a person who for sure does not have an Instagram account. Does not have an Instagram account, for sure. Somebody who's dead, maybe. Queen Elizabeth doesn't have an Instagram account. Shakespeare. Good. I like that. Shakespeare Instagram account. He's dead. He will not have an Instagram account. What would he post and why? And what kind of text would he write along? What kind of hashtag would he use? So we are using speculation. And can I use a modern photograph or an old one, and why? But that's a possibility. Hashtag to be or not to be. Another thing that you can do with Instagram is to have students share recommendations. So let's say that your students need to write a film review, but instead of writing a film review because it's boring, blah, 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 let's do it on Instagram. So let's post a photograph or an image related to the film and write a text giving my opinion. Then you can compare with, for example, if I really write a review and if I just write a short post on the review, what is the difference between the two texts and why? Because the texts, they're going to be different. And the students can see each other's recommendations on Instagram or the other thing that I'm going to talk about later. And the other thing is storytelling, because Instagram is a thread of images. So you can encourage your students to create stories via the images that they decide to use. One thing that we usually forget is that, for example, here, you can tell a story just with a sequence of images. And then the students can create and interpret their stories based on the pictures that they posted. And we usually forget that we can write a huge amount of text on Instagram. I don't know if you have an account, but this is from the New York Times, and this is a story. So they're not telling a story with pictures, but they're actually writing the story behind a dish. So I know it's small, but what it's saying that somebody used to take me to this restaurant to eat this dish, and it reminds me of blah, 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 blah. And it's all in the text. So we forget that it's not only about images. So if you can use the app, Instagram in class, this is an idea. If you can't, I don't know if you know Edmodo. Have you heard of Edmodo? Edmodo is a social network just for students and teachers. So you create a group for your students and they can join. And it's not, they don't need to share their emails. They only need to create a username and a password. But they don't even need to have an email address. And it's very safe because no one else has access to what is posted there. At Cultura, we have an app called Lexical Book app, and in this app you can create cards. So one side of the card you can post a picture, and on the other side of the card you can write text. So it would work like Instagram, but it's a flip over card, and it's free. Anybody can download, you and your students, and you can also add text. So one side of the card, there is an image with a story, and the other side of the card, your students can record text. Do you have any other suggestions about how to use a tool like Instagram in class? Any other ideas?
Daily posts.
Oh, sorry, what's your name?
Carlos.
Carlos, what do you mean daily posts?
Like the English daily posts, like a way for them to think in English daily.
Mm-hmm. So give them a task.
Yeah, just put the news that they like more daily.
Mm-hmm.
Day by day, one different new. I don't know, just an idea.
That's a possibility. I've seen some teachers do something I've never tried before, but give students a daily task, like post your breakfast and describe it. Post how you go to work or how you go to school, your commuting, and describe it. But then again, it depends on the tool that you can use with the students. So at Cultura, we do not use Instagram. Actually, the terms of use of Instagram require users to be older than 14. So you cannot tell your students who are younger than 14 to use Instagram because it's against the terms of use. I think Instagram and Facebook, they are for 14-year-olds onwards. But you can use the other tools. Okay? So for us to wrap up, we did we did more, right? But we defined visual literacy. We did 2 different activities. Do you remember? The Time magazines and and the emojis. And now we're talking about Instagram. So can you very quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, can you very quickly tell the person next to you which of the ideas you think is useful for you where you work with your students? Can you share, please? Sorry. Mwah.
Your head's changed, what's happening? And like motivate them. I think
I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
do you have any problems because, for example, some students, well, here we have all the same background, like the same repertory, but what about in the classroom where you have students from different places, and how can they relate? How can you make them relate to the same image or the same...
Exactly. We need to anticipate that. For example, the magazine cover activity, some people don't know who the people are. So they don't have a background knowledge on the people. But I think we cannot shy away. We're there to teach. So who's this guy? He's the president of Russia. Why is he the cover of the magazine? Because he's been the president for a very long time, and people are questioning if this is valid or not. So is he a dictator? No. Or yeah, what's your opinion? So we provide. No, don't shy away. But I agree with you. We need to anticipate that before bringing the images. All right. So do you mind sharing a little bit the activities that you would like to try, or if you have any other suggestions? The magazine pictures?
Not just from different sources.
So you wouldn't use time. Would you in Brazil? Because then again, we were talking. Paulo asked me here about the context, and in Brazil, Time nobody reads Time magazine. A few people do. Which other magazine would you use? It could be in Portuguese, right? Because we are analyzing the cover and the choice of image. Caras. No? Why not? Yeah, why not? Maybe analyzing why the people are there, why the reasons behind the choices of images. Have the images been changed, photoshopped, and why? The Disal magazine. And what about the emojis? Analyzing non-verbal communication. Would you try that with your students? Do you think it's useful? Not for your students. Do you think that would be more relevant for teenagers, adults, everybody? It really does depend on the context that you're teaching. So you really need to know your students before deciding on doing one thing or another. So to wrap up, just some reminders to promote visual literacy in class. I think one of the important things is we need to think about giving opportunities, because we open the course book, there are loads of beautiful pictures, loads of images, and we sometimes simply ignore them, or we just ask students to look and describe. So we need to identify what else to do with them. Another thing is to explore the different layers of meaning. So let's try to go beyond. Remember, when we describe, we're analyzing the syntax. If we go beyond, we're analyzing the semantics, the context, the reasons. So this is also important to remember. We need to identify, of course, in terms of language, what we're going to do. Are we going to work with vocabulary? Are we going to work with grammar? Are we going to work with reading or listening? Because this is important. It's the core of our profession. And to finish, I would like to... Yes, sure. To finish, I would like to show you a quote that is from one of the books that I like about visual literacy, and I'm going to give you the references. That seeing the world is not about how we see it, but what we make of what we see. Because we develop literacy through life, but we can help students develop even more. Thank you very much. This is my contact information. So if you have questions or if you want me to send the presentation to you, send me an email. Another thing is, I don't know if you, there is another person from Cultura that is always here at Disal called Rubens, maybe you know him. And we have a website called What is ELT? It's a website where you're going to find terms, terminology related to English language teaching. And we also have an Instagram account with definitions of concepts related to teaching. All right, these are the references that I used for this presentation. They are not only about English language teaching, but they are also about visual literacy in general. And another important thing, if you're going to work with images, you need to credit them. So every time you use a picture, a photograph, you need to credit the author of the image. So they are all here. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope to see you again soon.